Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to cut through, all the usual talk about sports performance, the drills, the conditioning, and we're going to ask a much deeper question. What actually ensures optimal athlete health and, I guess, sustained excellence in the long run?
It's such an essential question
Yeah.
because everybody wants to win, right?
Yeah.
But that desire, that's not what separates people.
Right.
We're starting with this core idea we found, this quote, that the key is not the will to win. Everybody has that. It is the will to prepare to win that is important.
And that just sets the stage perfectly. We've pulled together wisdom from the highest levels of sport. We're talking legendary coaches, elite academies, even the personal notebooks of champions.
People like Cart Kiraly and Misty May-Treanor.
Exactly. So our mission today is pretty simple. We want to stop looking at the superficial stuff and really extract the core knowledge that defines the three crucial pillars for performance. And this is key long-term health.
And these three pillars, they really define the complete athlete. It goes so far beyond just physical talent. We're talking about the physical foundation, the mental game, and this critical third area, the holistic ecosystem.
And if one of those pillars is shaky,
The whole thing can crumble. You risk burnout, injury, or you just never hit your actual potential.
okay, so let's unpack them. Let's start with the one nobody can argue with. Pillar one, the physical foundation. And this is more than just how hard you train.
Oh, much more. It's about this relentless, almost meticulous preparation and maintenance.
And when you look at what's demanded of elite athletes, the requirements for just maintenance are, they're kind of mind-boggling.
They are. Our sources give us these incredible examples that just highlight how non-negotiable it is to keep the machine running.
And nothing says maintenance quite like hydration, especially in these high-intensity sports. Cart Kiraly, he gave an insight into this that was just extreme.
He did. He talked about the sheer volume of fluid his body needed during his peak, especially in a sport like beach volleyball.
In the sun all day, yeah.
Right. He estimated that the most fluids he ever had to drink in a single day of competition was an astonishing 5 gallons.
5 gallons?
Yeah.
That's not just drinking when you're thirsty. That sounds like a medical procedure just to get through the day.
He was really blunt about it. He said if you failed to replace those fluids, players would just keel over and die.
Wow.
So it highlights this idea that at that level, you're constantly fighting against a massive hydration debt.
Yeah.
And for you listening, the key isn't the number 5. It's understanding that high performance requires this almost absurd level of intentional maintenance. It's a science.
That metabolic demand really sets the stage for the next piece of this physical foundation, which is proactive injury prevention.
Right.
You can be perfectly hydrated, but it doesn't matter if you're always on the sidelines.
Exactly. And the sources were very, very strong on specific preventative gear,
Right.
especially for joint stability. One coach shared this really painful story about tearing his own ankle ligaments. And that led to his really strong recommendation that active ankle braces should be just standard for any serious player.
Okay, so why active braces specifically? I think for a lot of us, prevention just means, taping up an ankle or using one of those lace-up supports. What's the real difference here?
It's a subtle difference, but it's a profound one. And it's all rooted in how the muscles work.
Okay.
When you use traditional tape or those standard braces, you're basically telling your body's own stabilizing muscles to take a break. The brace is doing all the work.
So you're outsourcing the stability.
You are. And that can lead to the muscles getting weaker over time, creating a dependency.
I see.
These active braces are designed differently. They only provide that rigid support when the joint moves beyond its normal range of motion.
Like on a bad landing.
Exactly. So during all normal movements, your muscles are still doing their job, staying strong. The brace is just there to prevent the catastrophe without causing that long-term weakness.
That's a huge piece of wisdom. But even with all the right prep and protection, the body still needs downtime. And our sources really stress that true rest isn't passive, it's an active part of the formula.
Yeah, Misty May-Treanor talked about this so well. She talked about conscious rejuvenation. Her quote was, "It's important to just kind of get away from your sport until you miss it."
That's not just a physical break, that's a mental one.
Completely. And it connects directly to that mental pillar we're about to discuss, doesn't it?
It has to. If you dread going back, your body's not going to heal right anyway.
For sure. She framed it as taking time to enjoy other parts of life, learn new things. That distance helps rejuvenate everything. The body needs that sleep, that rest, that nutrition to rebuild and get stronger.
Hmm.
Without it, you just break down.
Okay, so if the physical foundation is the engine, then pillar two, the mental game, that's the operating system.
Mhm.
All that physical work is basically wasted if the athlete doesn't have the mindset to handle the pressure and the setbacks.
This is where elite development academies instill, I think, their most crucial lesson. They redefine what success even means.
How so?
Well, the natural instinct, especially for young athletes, is to compare. You're always looking at your rival stats, their wins, and it just leads to burnout.
So how do you shift that focus?
They teach that you only compete against one person, yourself. The goal becomes beautifully simple. Be better tomorrow than you are today.
And that makes the process the goal.
Exactly. When you're just focused on your own improvement, all the external stuff, like how other players are ranked or tiered, it just becomes irrelevant noise.
Yeah.
It lowers the stress and actually makes you more willing to put in the work.
Because you're guaranteed to win every day as long as you show up for yourself.
That's it. It's the ultimate control mindset, which all our sources say is the hallmark of an elite athlete. They only worry about what they can control.
Which means they can recover from mistakes so much faster.
Instantly. They recover from their own mistakes, and they're completely unaffected by things they can't control. A bad call from a ref, trash talk, media.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Their mentality is just win or learn.
So to get to that level of mental discipline, what are the actual techniques? This can't just be optional. It has to be part of the routine.
It absolutely has to be. The first tool is visualization. This means finding a quiet spot, even for 60 seconds before practice, and mentally rehearsing perfect execution.
Not just a vague idea of success.
No, actually feeling the perfect serve, seeing the precise set in your mind's eye. Mental reps are almost as powerful as physical ones.
Then there's goal setting. We hear about SMART goals all the time, but how does it apply here in a practical way?
The key is that the goal has to be entirely within the athlete's control. So instead of a goal like win the championship, which you can't control,
Right.
they set a goal like, I will do 50 quality wall passes, focusing on my platform each day.
And can you just quickly, for anyone listening who might not be a volleyball player, what's a platform and wall pass?
Great point. The platform is just that locked, flat, forearm position you use to pass the ball. It's your foundation for control. And a wall pass is a simple drill, passing the ball against a wall to perfect that platform.
Got it. So the goal is about the quality of the work, not the final score.
Precisely. It's controllable. And the third tool is journaling. It might feel a bit old-fashioned to some, but it's essential for self-awareness.
It's like a high-performance biofeedback loop.
That's a perfect way to describe it. You track your progress, your feelings, breakthroughs, challenges. You can log your diet, your sleep, and start to see patterns. You can connect how you feel physically to how you perform, and you can self-correct way faster than waiting for a coach to notice.
Okay, so we've covered the body, the mind. Now we get to pillar 3, the holistic ecosystem. This is the whole environment around the athlete. And honestly, this seems to be where things can get really messy.
So much confusion and tension can come from here, yeah. And role clarity is everything. The sources draw these very clear, very rigid lines, starting with the coach.
And the mandate is pretty stark. It says, coaches are not friends, mothers, or doctors.
It sounds harsh, doesn't it?
It does, but I have to imagine it's for a good reason. Why is that distance so critical?
It's about objectivity. The second a coach becomes a friend or a therapist, they lose the ability to make tough, objective calls.
About playing time or giving hard feedback.
Exactly. Their primary job is to develop sport skills, period. The sources are so clear that a coach has to be very aware they weren't hired to parent or become involved in the athlete's personal life.
So they have to delegate that stuff out.
They must. Logistics, admin stuff that goes to managers or parents. The coach's focus during that sacred and limited practice time has to be 100% on training.
Okay, so if the coach's role is strictly professional, then the parent's role has to be almost purely emotional support.
Purely. The parent's job is to provide unconditional love, support, and encouragement, no matter what the scoreboard says. But this is where the wires get crossed so often.
It's got to be hard. I mean, it's easy to say just offer unconditional love, but when you've invested so much time, money, travel, how do the sources say parents should handle their own disappointment or their own observations?
That's the real practical challenge. And the number one rule they give is this. Parents cannot give technical advice or critique skills, especially not right after a game.
In the car ride home.
The dreaded car ride home. That conflicting feedback, the coach said do this, my parents said do that, it just creates instant confusion and tension. It undermines the coach, and it stresses out the athlete.
So what should that conversation sound like then?
You shift the focus completely, away from scores or kills or mistakes. You focus on effort and learning. A fantastic question a parent can ask is, what's one thing you learned from that situation today?
It reinforces that win or learn idea we talked about.
It does. And beyond that, parents should be encouraging responsibility. Let the athlete pack their own gear, manage their own journal. It empowers them and maintains that healthy boundary.
And all of this, the clear roles, the boundaries, it all feeds into the final point of the ecosystem, the need for actual life balance.
Yes, the philosophy from the Elite Academy was so clear on this. Their job is to develop a well-rounded member of society. They know that athletes shouldn't have to put everything in their lives on hold to excel at a sport.
Because that's a recipe for burnout.
A terrible one.
Yeah.
So holistic health means you have to include activities that are not about performance. Elite athletes have to structure their lives to include diet, training, yes, but also dedicated time for social activities and academic achievement.
They're not distractions.
They're necessities. They are what ensures the athlete stays socially, physically, and mentally healthy for the long haul. A balanced life outside the gym gives you resilience inside the gym.
So looking back on our mission today, we've really defined these three critical areas. We have the physical foundation, which is all about meticulous prep, prevention, and active recovery.
Then the mental game, which demands resilience, that internal focus, and specific tools like visualization and journaling. And finally, the holistic ecosystem, which is built on those sacred boundaries for coaches and parents and, a mandate for real-life balance.
And for you listening, this isn't just a breakdown of how to train. It's a complete system blueprint for high performance in really any field. It shows that excellence comes from managing the interplay between these three very different domains.
Then, if there's one idea that binds all three pillars together, it's just consistency, that daily pursuit of getting just a little bit better. We can leave you with the words of the legendary coach Russ Rose, who summed it up perfectly.
What'd he say?
He said, "You're either getting better or getting worse."
Yeah.
I don't think you stay the same in sports. If we want to achieve something special, then those players have to recognize that they're responsible every day for getting better.
Which leaves the question for you. In what area of your life, be it your physical health, your mental resilience, or that ecosystem of support around you, are you recognizing your own responsibility every day to get better? Something to think about until our next deep dive.